snuggle up in each other's arms. Do you mind if I stay by your side? Just looking at you all the time goes by.
It
Hello,
is Archie.
hello.
Oh,
Sorry. Hey, welcome. We got echoes.
I don't hear an echo, Mr. Lux. Mr. Lux,
I
I'm
hear
Marcus
echoes.
Frishman, and you're not.
No, that's correct. How are you? Welcome.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm
A
in a
week-
good mood today.
A week has gone past. The time has been flying.
We are flying by.
Have you seen the breaking news? It's literally just coming in.
I just saw it, and I just did a Facebook post. Of course, my posts are private amongst my 4,000 close friends, but I want to talk about that real quickly because I have a fabulous, fabulous story
Okay.
on how I will. Well, let me be clear about how I put it. I have been asked by the Crown Prince to join him in reestablishing, originally, as he put it, a constitutional monarchy in Iran. Now, the invitation is quite old, but there's a good story. And if you want me to tell it, you let me know when.
Oh, 100%. So let's first get into the breaking news for those that aren't informed. Donald Trump has announced that we have completed, when he says we, the United States military, a very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to the great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now, this is interesting. Now is the time for peace. Okay. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Do you think peace will follow after these bombs have just been dropped, Frishman?
Well, peace is in the definition, isn't it? So peace will reign only if the Iranian leadership is eliminated and that government is overturned. And it needs to be done by their own people, not by the United States or Israel. And that's our policy. We will not have regime change military strategy. Certainly, we have regime change intelligence level strategies, but Israel has a regime change military strategy, and the combined efforts will get these mullahs and their henchmen out of the country so that what is estimated to be 80%, give or take, of great Iranians who love America, love Israel, love peace, and would like to have their freedom back. I say back, but that would apply to some of the older ones, because this nation has been terrorizing the world, terrorizing Americans, killing Europeans, Christians, and Muslims for more than 40 years. They are the definition of evil. They are, in fact, I believe, as a religious person, I believe they are angels of the devil. And it goes to their basic philosophies. These are not good people. You can have wars where both sides have their, I guess, definition of good and evil. But in this case, this is not my opinion. This is empirical fact. The Iranian government is pure evil, and they need to be destroyed. They need to be dead, and they need to go to They will be in hell. They're not going to be in heaven. And I suppose they have virgins down there for them or something. That is what I think.
Do you think there's going to be any retaliation?
It's hard to say. They would retaliate if they could. I'm not sure that they can do any significant retaliation, but they likely have a few of those missiles left. Let's hope the call for peace, which is what Donald Trump is doing, because he doesn't want to escalate. He will escalate beyond imagination, beyond belief, if they attacked American bases in any significant way. So, and there are, as you may know, there are, I've lost count. I had the count the other day. There are a dozen or more bases in the region. We have, and they're all, they're all in Arab Muslim nations. I mean, this country has no, these Iranian leaders that had two primary allies, China and Russia. Russia announced all Russians need to leave, all embassy need to leave, all Russian citizens need to leave, and we're doing nothing to intervene. Russia did call, Putin did call upon Trump to not do this, of course, and also not to escalate, and called for peace. He offered to negotiate the peace. I think that was fairly silly. China has been absolutely silent. That's their two primary allies. Their tools of evil are still capable of helping them, but and they've spent billions and several $billion on the Houthis over the years. I would be pretty mad if I was an Iranian mullah or leader. How dare they not help us? But they're not helping them. Syria is on America and Israel's side. There are celebrations happening in Saudi Arabia, and the whole Middle East is reconfigured. Whether or not this government falls is still questionable. They are a ruthless, brutal government that has a tight rein on their people, and I fear they may continue.
They don't have to just attack military bases in the Middle East. They could maybe they have personnel already on the ground.
They do
in America that could do some.
It is suggested they have that. These sleeper cells. This would not be at the scale of a 9/11. This would be individual psycho Iranian Iranian government supporters who would do some nasty stuff. Look, they've arrested one for an attempted assassination to the president. Doesn't get much press, but there was an arrest. It's been linked to Iran. They stopped another Iranian attempted assassination of the president. Not much information was given on the second one. But the media provides false narratives. You know, the media has been saying for 2 weeks, Gabby, the head of our national security operation in America, she's in charge of 17 intelligence agencies. And for a week, I've had to listen to how she has been critical of escalation due to the fact that she has said that the Iranians do not have the capability of a potential nuclear weapon in the near future. She yesterday said she never said that. She's confirmed just the opposite. So the media just lies about anything that Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, tell me something that I don't know. The media is fake news.
Well, I'm not sure all of it is premeditated. I think it's just sloppy. They don't check anything anymore. The moment someone
there's no such thing as real journalists unless you're a citizen journalist.
When I grew up, they had to have two sources, before they would print a fact that was not widely accepted. Two sources in all the newspapers and television. It was two sources. Now it's anonymous sources or no sources. People have talked about it. Anyway, whatever.
Do you think Iran has weapons of mass destruction?
Yes. No, I do. I think that they could have eased. And I think if they had finalized their nuclear weapons, they would do what they said, drop them on Israel. I mean, they've said it. When I say they, it comes directly from the Ayatollah. It comes from the president, the new one, not so much the previous one. And it comes from the entire leadership there. I saw a release a few months ago. The foreign secretary of state, whatever his title is, from Iran, did a written release. And it said, if anyone doubted, it began with, "This is an official release of this foreign secretary, blah, blah, blah," some intro like that. And he used the word kill. And he said, "We're going to kill the president of the United States." And this is an official government statement. They made 3 components: that they would kill him, that it was an official government position, and that they would not rely on third parties. They would do it themselves. So that doesn't get much play, but it's there. It's in writing. It was released by the government. You know, they're just evil.
Yeah, this is an interesting comment.
These are not people that are brainwashed like the North Koreans. These are not anti-Americans that live there. I have a lot of connections with Iran indirectly. The Iranian people are really fabulous. They're fabulous there. They're fabulous here in America. There's a small percentage that go along with the government. It's estimated to be 20%, but I think it's way less, because part of that 20% are the ones employed. They're employed, it's an oligarchy. You can't really get good jobs if you don't support the leadership. You can't get good jobs at the universities, at the various institutions, certainly not in the government. And that's a lot of people, because they've nationalized all the businesses that are important. Yes. So hence, if you work for the oil company, if you work for the electric company, it's owned by the government. You have to be part of that crowd. So I don't believe there is this 20% of hatred of America and hatred of the Israelis. And my friends who travel there, who are Iranian Americans, they say the same. Everyone says that.
Do you think this could push us towards World War III?
No. The Chinese and the Russians are going to have nothing to do with these people. No one.
I heard that the Chinese are actually in Iran at the moment.
They are, but they've evacuated a number of Chinese. But yeah, I suppose there's Russians and Chinese operatives all over, but they're not interfering.
But I mean, I've heard that there's military equipment from the Chinese currently in Iran as well.
No, I'm not aware of that. I've never heard that. Oh, well, you might be talking about the replacement parts for the launchers. And some alternative launch devices. I know Russia supplied launch devices, but those were destroyed and they didn't resupply them. But I'd like to tell you a positive, interesting story.
Okay, yeah.
The prince, the crown prince, he calls himself the crown prince, Reza Shah Pahlavi. He and I went to the same school together. USC. Now, he went to 3 colleges. I went to 5. But in the end, we both graduated USC. If my memory serves me, he graduated before me. We played pinball together, however, on campus. And I have an interesting story. So one afternoon, and I'm going to guess at the year, 89, 90, something like that. In Los Angeles, we had a day in his honor. Where you roll out the red carpet, you have a band, all the politicians come by, council members, yes. Mayors. Okay. So we do that a lot, a day in your name. And we had a day in his name. And it was put on at the County Hall of Administration, the county, not the city, but the city officials came. And of course, I was on staff with the county mayor, supervisor, Mike Antonovich at the time. and he was I believe he was the chairman, so that made him the mayor. So he was the host that day. And we all knew this event was coming, right? So it's a party on the rooftop, which was a beautiful rooftop in Los Angeles. This place looks like the Taj Mahal.
Have you got the name? Do you remember the name of this rooftop? I can bring up a picture.
It's the Hall of Administration, not to be confused with City Hall of Los Angeles, the County Hall of Administration. It's a beautiful old building. It was much more beautiful then, but it was a beautiful old building. It's a gorgeous building in many regards. So on the top of this building, on the 8th floor, is where all the top officials, the top elected officials worked, and where I worked. And the party is going to be on the outside. There's a patio that completely circles the entire top 8th floor around the perimeter. And the party is outside on one of the sides. That's the building on one of the sides. You can see the top floor. There it is. You can kind of see this presumed perimeter up there. Yeah. And that's where the party will be. So Reza shows up, and back then people came in limousines. He showed up in a limousine with a few cars. And I want you to imagine this. So we're in an underground parking lot. There's a band, as I recall. All the officials are to the right of me. I'm with staff on the right side. Now everyone is behind ropes, including the officials. And there's a red carpet going from the driveway of this underground garage there's a driveway there right in front of the door. We're all in front of the door. It's an underground door. And yeah, that's the building. And so the car arrives, the band's playing, the door opens. Now, remember, all the officials are to the left of me, and all the staff, the senior staff, not all the staff, there's a lot of staff in that building, are to the right of me. And maybe that was 30 of us. The door opens of the limousine, and by mere chance, the Crown Prince has a direct view of me. I'm standing right at the rope.
So the Crown Prince of Iran is you?
Yeah, he shows up and he opens the door, and somebody opened the door, and he gets out and he looks right at me. He knows who I am. I know who he is, except
how does he know who you are?
We played pinball together at USC. There's just one part of the story that's shocking. I didn't know he was the Crown Prince until he showed up that day. So he shows up, he gets out of the car, and I recognize him. He recognizes me. He has obviously a very distinct look, if you've seen a picture of him. And I posted today a young picture of him, although that was pre me meeting him. But anyway, the point is he gets out and he eyeballs me and he mouths my name, Marcus. Now the band's playing. You can't hear him.
Are you talking about this guy?
Yeah, that guy. And he gets out of the car and makes a beeline right to me. He doesn't follow the red carpet. You get it? To the officials. He comes to me. Okay. And he comes right to me, and we're shaking hands. What are you doing? You're the Crown Prince? You know, we're having this conversation couldn't have lasted 20 seconds when my boss, the mayor of Los Angeles County Supervisor, they call him the mayor. It's not the mayor of LA, it's the mayor of the county. And he walks over, interrupts, and with other staff, and drags the Crown Prince over to where he should have been. And then we all go upstairs and we have a party. It's a reception, food, we're having conversation. It's the top officials in LA, elected and appointed, some statewide people, and staff, a small amount of staff. As I say, about 30 people, I think. That would have meant a little bit of staff from each office. And we had a party for about 90 minutes. And I went up to him and we talked about how he kept secret who he was. And I said, I would like to go back with you. I remember how I did this. I asked he wanted to go back to Iran and create what he called then a constitutional monarchy. I watch him constantly. You know, I follow him on social media, and he hasn't repeated. I haven't seen that repeated, but that's how he put it to me. And he talks now about a democracy of some sort and a transitional government and other. He doesn't say constitutional monarchy, which would make him the king, I guess. But he did then. And I said, Raza, I would like to come back with you and help you start a government there. Now, you remember, we were both young and we're in our 20s and we're starting our career in politics. So this was fascinating, as though he was going to go there in a few months, but he never did. And he did respond to my request. He said, Marcus, you're welcome to join me. I'm going to need a lot of help. It was really a discussion like it was going to happen anytime. But this was, I think, 1989, 1990. And he extended that invitation to me. And I intend to follow it up. I have communicated with him. I've not had an answer, admittedly, because I don't have direct communication for years. But I just sent some messages the best I could, and I'll see if I get a response. If not, I'll use some political contacts to get a more direct connection.
Hey, see if you can get him on the show, maybe.
Yeah, I want to get him on the show. I want to get him. Well, you could probably do that. I want to get him. I want to go with, if he goes. First of all, it's not clear, sadly, if he has the support there. That's not clear. When I say that's not clear, it's not just not clear to me. I'm relying on other people who say it's not clear that he would be the man for the job.
So if he's exiled, then he's technically not the crown prince anymore, right?
He calls himself the crown prince, but
well, you can call yourself whatever you want. Like
Sure.
You call yourself the ambassador, but you're not the ambassador.
No,
right?
it's like, well, except I was never an ambassador, except he really was the crown prince. He was in Iran, and he was, in fact, the crown prince. I'm not sure that's the title. Remember, it was self-imposed.
But titles can be removed, right? So I'm sure his titles.
I'm sure that. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure they removed.
So he's currently just a peasant.
He's just. I wouldn't call him a peasant. So he was a CIA asset for years, and for years, maybe a decade or more, I lost track. He lived outside the CIA gates in Virginia in that magnificent neighborhood with these big, beautiful homes. And I lost track of him then, and I'm not sure, frankly, what he does for work. But they did take a lot of money out of there. And you know what I said to him? I made a joke. I said, Crown Prince. I'm sure the joke was better then. I'll try to repeat it. I haven't repeated it in many years. I said, Crown Prince, may I ask if I'm going to assist you in returning to Iran and help you establish a constitutional monarchy, if you don't mind, I would rather be on the plane carrying the artwork back than on your personal staff plane, if you don't mind. And he laughed because he got the joke. There are instances in history where when you return, you get shot. And I just figured I'd be safer on the plane with all the artwork and the furniture and the money and the gold. But because when the president, when Aquino, a hero of the Philippines, returned, they killed him at the airport, and the Marcos people killed him. Not Marcos or. Anyway, that was my little story, and I did a post today at Facebook, and I said the story more eloquently, I'm sure. I said, let me just get it real quick because I have it right here. I said, oh Jesus, it's when you want something, it's always some difficulty.
Yeah.
Why is that? Okay, here it is. So I said, I will help the Prince of Iran as a team member. The Crown Prince of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, promised me that he would take me back to Iran with him on his plane when he returns to assume his throne. It would be my job as a team member to assist him in establishing a new government. Long ago, we talked about a constitutional monarchy being reestablished. Nowadays, he doesn't talk much about a constitutional monarchy. He talks about a transitional leadership role. Nonetheless, I'm waiting for my invitation. We honored him in Los Angeles when I was working for an elected official back then. He got out of his car and immediately approached me and bypassed the mayor and other distinguished officials because he recognized me from the University of Southern California. We played pinball together. The Prince went to 3 colleges. I went to 5 colleges, but we both graduated USC, the University of Southern California. Prince, I am at your service. This post is not a joke.
Okay, you say that you hope that he can take you on his plane back to Iran.
Wouldn't that be great?
And, and put you into power. Put you in power.
I'll do anything he wants. So
explain to me, why would he do that? You're just a random guy that he played pinball with.
Yeah. Well,
okay. So why do you put yourself at such a high caliber?
I don't think it's high caliber. I mean, back then it was a serious request and a serious invitation. And I remember how he put it. He said, I need a lot of good people to put together.
Well, if it was such a serious request, then wouldn't he keep in contact with you?
In contact with everyone. You sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And I didn't. But I intend to...
of all the people not to contact, a possible a possible leader of a country in the future.
Okay, let's go to that. Let's go to that. So decade after decade, it looks worse and worse that he will never go back. By the way, I'm not saying he will ever go back. I think the chances are that he won't. Okay, my gut instincts and what I know about that country and the intelligence involved is that they will, if they overthrow their government, I'm not so certain he will be the one that will be asked to lead the country. Okay, the young people there don't know him. They don't have a history of him. There's a whole bunch of people. There's a reason why the Shah was excommunicated from his own country. So you have that group, and then American. Well, let me make it clear. So American Iranians love him. The American Iranians who fled the country in the late 70s, and there was a lot of them, and the 80s, and continuously through the years, they know who he is and they love him. At least the senior generation does, and they've made sure their children know who he is. I go to, in Los Angeles, one of my favorite food places is Persian food. And I go to multiple Persian restaurants that are run by Persian families. One of them just down the street, Shamshuri. Kevin is the son. I'm forgetting the father's name, but both of them, the son who's in his 20s and the father who's in his 60s, all support the Shah. Everyone in that restaurant does. There's another Shamshuri. They all support the Shah. When I say the Shah, I mean the Shah's son. So it's possible, but I wouldn't.
So going back to the pinball. So how close of a relationship are you saying that you had?
Didn't have a close relationship. We played pinball together, and I did not.
Exactly. So you're just a random guy that you met, and you just like to play pinball.
Except,
for you to make a post publicly to say that this guy is going to welcome me with open hands, and we're going to get on an airplane together. And we're going to
help the Prince of Iran.
How do you know he wants your fucking help? You're just a random. You're just a random peasant on the street that he played pinball with once in a blue moon.
You mean, does he not? Maybe he doesn't want me anymore. Yeah, sure, that's possible.
No, I mean, even if you went back 20 years, 30 years, whatever this was in the 80s or 90s, did you say?
I'm sure he would have honored his word back then. The question is,
he was probably just amusing you, like, this little guy, he likes to play pinball. He hasn't got a clue who I am. I'll just play a little.
Well, he didn't reveal who he was.
But do you think he feels happy that you've put in all this information, these private conversations all over the internet?
Oh, I've been telling that story for years.
Yeah, but do you think he's happy about that?
Well, I don't know. I hope he sees it. If
I was him, I wouldn't be very happy about these private conversations being put all over the internet. Well, he's a very high caliber individual. And if you you don't work for government, or in government. If you worked in government, you would know these such conversations shouldn't be flawed and all over the internet.
Well, it depends. Depends on your personality. That's me. That's what I do.
Fuck. I mean, if I was some big high flying person, I'd be very careful.
Here's how that would go. Let me tell you how that would go if it would go. He would put together a team.
He wouldn't trust you because you'd be putting it all over the internet, all over your Facebook groups.
There's no secret there. There's nothing secret. It's not even confidential. Everybody at the party knew that.
Yeah, but it's a moral, decorum, right? You like, those guys. You've seen them. Those guys that they've been at a party, and there was a couple of superstars at the party, and then for the next 50 years they go around saying, hey, I know Michael Jackson. I'm close to Michael Jackson. Nah, you just shook his hand at a fucking party, right? The name calling, those guys that go around saying, oh, I know Michael Jackson. He's my best friend. No, you don't. He's just you just met him at a fucking party for 2 seconds and you shook his hand.
No. We were together every day. We met at the Commons at USC. We played pinball. He wasn't in my inner circle. I had an inner circle. I had an 11:30 lunch club at USC. And
you were just a pinball guy. That's it. Yeah, you weren't his best buddy.
No, but he didn't have any best buddies. Let me assure you. I mean, I knew about him then, but he had a persona. He went by a different name. I can't remember what name he went by. Forgive me. But anyway, it was love at first sight when he got out of the limousine. And if he wants me to take the post down, I would do it in a New York minute. And by the way,
I think you're a bit of a delusional fantasist, to be honest.
That's what you do. You take down your posts when you get a position. Let me tell you something. So when you're in a position, it's wise not to post anything about what you do. It's wise. If you're working at a museum or you're working at a dress store or you're a painter, try not to post about your colleagues and your work and what you do. But gosh, when it's over, you post. You talk. We're part of.
You air out all the dirty secrets.
If you're part of social media culture.
I think you're wrong. I think really high influential people don't air out all dirty secrets in public.
Yeah, but
unless there's a really serious reason.
It's not a dirty secret, and it's very lighthearted. This is not a serious thing. It's just what happened. It's the truth, but it's not. Look, he might take me, he might not. I know what he said, I know what I asked, and I intend to follow it up. But no harm, no foul. I'm sure he's.
I know it kind of leaves a bad taste. When you told me this about you putting this post on Facebook, kind of gave me a little bad taste in my mouth.
No, I'm sorry.
Because it's kind of acting like you're his best buddy and you know him, you're best friends with him,
no.
He doesn't even. You're just a pinball guy that you met 30 years ago.
You're reading more into it. I said I'm the pinball guy. That's all I said. There's nothing you can't read into.
You tried. I feel you tried to make yourself as if you're this big hotshot government guy, and you've got all these connections. And
I do have connections. I'm paid for just connections. IBM hired me for a connection. They couldn't get their hotshot, big 6-figure a month lobbyist to even get them an appointment, so they asked me, and paid me dearly for it. So I do have connections, but that's how I get paid. That's why I do what I do. I would be working at a shoe store if I didn't have connections.
Well,
nothing wrong with people working at a shoe store, but it's because
but playing pinball with a guy and you acting like he's your best buddy, he's going to take you on an airplane and take over Iran. It's a bit different, right? When you say connections, I was lucky enough to play pinball with this guy that I didn't even realize who he was. And then all of a sudden now, 40 years later, you're saying, yeah, we're going to take over Iran. Yeah. I mean,
you're over exaggerating, but let me.
No, I'm not. That's what you just said. Me and him are going to jump on an airplane and we're going to take back Iran.
I'm repeating what we talked about. We talked about the plane.
He's probably humoring you.
I doubt it. I doubt it. At the time, I doubt it. But let me say this. It goes to another point, though, that's interesting, that I had a conversation with someone today at lunch. His name's Alan. He watches the show. And I had lunch with him. And I said, Alan, you know what's interesting? This subject honestly came up today. It's what you're mentioning. When you say, I may have trouble explaining it. When you say X, Y, and Z, observers think you or self-create in their head, you said Q, R, and W. So you didn't say that. But people will reinterpret. If you've ever had the game, it's called, in America as kids, we played a game called telephone. And you would sit in a circle, 5 people, 8 people, 10 people. The goal, the rule was you mustn't change the story. The story must be absolutely the same. Do everything to keep it exactly the same. The first person is told a very short story, extremely short, maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Then they whisper in the ear the next person.
It's called Chinese whispers. Chinese whispers.
Okay, well, we called it a telephone. And at the end, the story comes out. And of course, there's a moderator that had the real story because it was written down, and how different it comes out. Because
I get what Chinese whispers.
My point. I want to make one final point on that. I took a class in law, and it was an evidence class a long time ago, and we had to observe dramatic moments of crimes. They were artificial and they were fake, and they were brought into the classroom. And then we had to write, what did we see? So eyewitness testimony is the weakest, most unreliable testimony of anyone. So when you hear, oh, there's an eyewitness, that is the most overrated example of what I'm trying to say. Eyewitnesses are the most unreliable. I saw it myself with my own eyes. Well, you didn't really know what you saw. I don't care what it is. You didn't get it right, probably. So that's an empirical fact. That is not my opinion. And then people offer what they saw because they believe it. They believe what they saw. That's very similar to what I'm going to conclude with this, because I don't want to ramble. But that's very similar to this point. Mr. Lux, with all due respect, don't read any more into that, because I didn't add one embellishment to that story. I might look again to see if I did, because it's okay to embellish. If you embellish, you have to admit you embellish. I'll take another look to see if I can admit to at least an embellishment of the story. Sure.
No. What I mean is this, because I do this a lot myself.
Yeah, I don't.
So I know the mind fuckery, because I fuck people's minds a lot as well. You say something. In a way that they will perceive it and they will change it in their own heads to mean something more. And you know they're gonna make it into something else in their own heads. You just plant the seeds. You're planting the seeds to make them think more than what you've actually said. I know how to do this.
I agree with exactly what you said. The question, why don't you ask me, did I do that with intent to plant the seed? And I'll be honest to you, I did. I know that. Yeah, I did it too,
because it's marketing for who you are.
Someone's gonna. I haven't seen. I just posed it. We'll see. Oh, there's 3 comments. So Oh, here one guy, Joe Gelman. I probably shouldn't say his name. Let's pray that it all comes to fruition. So he wants me to go. Now here's a high-ranking government employee. Let me see what he said. He was a former coworker of mine. He's still working. I was asked once to work for him. Oh, interesting. So Bill, let's leave his last name out. I was asked once to work for him, but I would have to move to the East Coast, withdraw from my political activism in California. I added the word California, and of course be placed on the death list. So I declined. Bill is a prominent guy here. He held much lesser positions than me, but he has held many of them. And that was his comment. So they're both legitimate comments. And he's saying how he was invited to go back too. That makes sense, because the guy was here. Everybody wants to be on his team. You know, I would love to go and do that if I could take my dog with me, which I'm sure I can.
By the way, there's a super chat. McLobster, $5. Thank you, McLobster. Marcus, what can you do with Archie's image? He needs a glow up. His presentation and grooming is declining, and so is his shtick.
Very good question, because I've actually been thinking about this, and if other people are thinking about it, it means something. It means something just that one person mentioned this. Archie, when I became acquainted with him, he would be in a suit and tie. Do you remember, Lux? Were you connected that long ago?
Yes.
I was connected only as a fan, an observer, and he used to be all polished. Now Archie, I love him. I'm going to be somewhat critical in a polite, positive way. He's let himself go. He needs to go back to the old Archie. He needs to do what made him famous. And maybe he's having more fun doing what he's doing, but he's admitted that it's not as successful as it was. He's blaming it on a YouTube component of change. Maybe that's part of it, but there are people on YouTube doing very well. And I think Archie should go back. Archie, comb the hair, put on the suit. You are a gentleman behind that skin. I know you are. And just go back to what you are. I mean, I don't know if Mr. Lobster agrees with me, but we've got to do something. And that's why I was here. But the truth is, I was going to tell Archie, we're only getting about 300 or less than 300 viewers. This show is his lowest rated show. And I'm sure he receives an income for just the show being here. You can't rely on just super chats. You rely on...
No. He only relies on super chats.
What about the follower component that he has?
Followers? In what sense?
Well, when I was on TikTok, it didn't matter. You didn't get super chats. You just had... In fact, it didn't matter who your followers were. It didn't matter who your likes were or comments as much as it did viewers. If you have viewers, and he's got viewers and followers, you'd think he has an independent income from that alone.
No, I mean, his income is super chats. If people don't super chat, there's no income.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, money doesn't just come out of thin air just because you got followers.
I don't know about the structure of payment on YouTube. I do know it at TikTok.
Well, it's free. It's free. I mean, you don't pay to watch videos. It's all free.
Right.
So just because you got viewers doesn't mean you make money. You make money from super chats.
Huh. Well, that's screwed. I mean,
if you think logically, just because you got 100 people watching, where's the money coming from?
Well, them should be coming from ads.
There's no ads. There's no ads on Archie's streams.
Yeah, why is that?
Because Archie doesn't want people to be interrupted with ads all the time.
Oh, that may be. I don't know how he started out for sure, but I thought I saw ads years ago. Huh.
Oh yeah, years ago, but not now.
Very interesting. Well, look, I wish him the best, and he's going through another transition, so I hope he recovers from it. That's all I say. And if I can help doing that in my little way, I will. But I was going to tell Archie very candidly. I'll say another confidential. You call these things secret and confidential. Here's one. I'll just blurt it out there. If Archie doesn't want to continue these shows, that's up to him, not me. I wouldn't push him at all to do another show. He invited me to this, and I'm happy to be here.
If any of my questioning is too harsh or anything, just let me know.
No, I like your challenge because you have a good point about why would somebody post that to create? Well, I thought it was fun. You know.
Okay, fair enough. Do you enjoy these shows? Do you want more shows?
Yeah, I do enjoy them. I enjoy the comments afterwards. I read them.
Do you want people to jump on as panelists, or do you like it just one-on-one?
I don't really care. Archie's asked me the same thing about this show. Do you want to have Lux? Do you want to have me? I said, Archie, you decide. I'm flexible with anything, really.
So should I allow people to jump on if they wish.
Sure. You want to try that? Is that something interesting?
Yeah, I can always kick them off if they're too
Sure.
rowdy.
Sure. Oh, don't kick off disagreeers. Just kick off.
No. Yeah. If there's
people, yeah.
So if anyone wants to jump on, the link is in the chat. If you've got any questions for Mr. Frishman, you're welcome to jump on.
I'm scanning. I'm finding. I don't really look at the comments during the show, but I am now here. I think I did last week too. This guy's explaining a telephone. We have one nasty guy that's always here. I don't see him yet.
Who's that? Who's the nasty guy?
Well, I don't know. I forget his name, but he's. You know that there's a guy named Marcus that's very nice, but he's over the top, polite and kind and.
We got some. Yeah, we got polite people.
He's over the top polite. I mean, he's like, it's hard to. It's like he's like my brother, and I said, say these things. I mean, that's how over the top it is. I don't see him here today, but he was here last week, and so I don't think we're gonna. Maybe you have this is the watch of the day. This is the James Cameron Deep Sea, the most in its Submariner version, probably the most sought after watch in the world.
Beautiful.
The stainless steel version. I actually traded. I think it's the only watch I've traded 2 watches. I traded my no date Submariner for this. Not in an even trade. I had to put some money into it, but I did it a few years ago. Because who would anyone own a Submariner and this watch? I don't think so.
Maybe Archie would.
Well, I thought that was crazy. So I just said I wanted the Deep Sea, and I traded it.
Archie's had 5 identical Pateks before.
Oh my goodness!
Ladies-sized, children-sized Pateks.
Really?
Calatravas, yeah. The cheapest 5 Patek Calatravas you could ever put your hands on. He bought them because they were cheap.
Well, all right.
And there's a reason why they're cheap.
So there is a link out there for the people that are watching.
Jay Gray, if you want to jump on and ask him questions, you got free reign. Sure. If Nark's listening, he can jump on. HR, now is your time, HR, if you wish to jump on and ask questions.
I have another watch. I don't know why these are sitting here. Probably I've worn them in a few days because I keep my watches locked up. But I have a beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It matches my car. It's a. Let me shine it up a bit. It's a Zin. I'm sorry. It's a Zin watch, and it's just. I think it's beautiful.
With the condom hands.
Look at that. Yeah. Let's put it out there. Right.
Do you like the condom hands?
Is that what? Oh yeah, right. That's what.
See, it looks like a condom.
It does. I never realized that. I have a watch that I don't think Archie likes much. I actually bought this in the Philippines when I was itching to buy a watch because I just loved it. One of my clients wore this to a meeting once, and I said, "I'm going to find one for me." And it's the Bubble.
Oh, Quorum. It's a Quorum.
And a college girlfriend was dating the owner of this company. She called him Skeletor. I think he died because he kind of looked like a skeleton. I don't know his name, but I remember the story she would tell me. So she was 40 years younger than him. And it's on a rubber band. I think it's a lovely watch.
I used to like the Quorum Admiral Cup.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I used to like that. I used to like the one with the flags on the indices.
He did this watch company did a lot of watches with this giant crystal bubble face, and they put all sorts of strange things on the face. This is just numeric numbers. I think it's a beautiful watch. I love wearing it. It has no snob appeal. You know, these watches don't have snob appeal, but they're fun. I like them. I buy a lot of.
What's your most expensive watch?
Well, it's hard to say because Well, I suppose if we talk about my 18 karat gold Submariner bluesy, I think that the current price. What's that? A new 47,000, but I bought it pre-owned at about 20.
Okay.
I think I've spent. So maybe the question is, what's the most you've ever spent on a watch? And I think I'm trying to think if I've spent anything over 20,000. I don't think I have.
Okay.
That watch can sell right now because I looked it up for almost 30.
Do you want to sell it?
No. I probably will never. I thought about trading it for a Pepsi, but I was talked out of it by everybody. It was a recent idea of mine, and I sent a message to whom a guy in Orange County that has a new Pepsi, and I didn't do it.
It looks like no one wants to jump on to have a go at you.
You know what? I'm going to have to pick one and just demand it. Let's see. Let me just take a look here. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So what's this guy? I hope Frishman is paying for his time on Archie's channel. He is creepy. Oh, well, all right, Mr. Phobin Colossus. I will answer that question, and then I will invite.
No, tell him you will only answer it if he jumps on.
Oh, good. Why don't you jump on?
Yeah, tell him to his face. Tell him to his,
all right,
to his face. You want to go around calling people names? At least tell him to his face.
Let's see. Is this the same guy now calling me? Okay, there's a guy that just says creep. Although I presume he's calling you a creep, Mr. Lux. That's supposed to be funny. Never mind.
Okay, we got someone joining and waiting for their device to connect.
What is a zyomist? This guy is a zyomist. Georgie's 1978. I don't even know what a zyomist is. Got some virgins down there for him. Oh, that's for the Iranian leadership, I guess. Oh, this guy, watch Nicholas. He says, I could listen to him talk geopolitics all day and he gives hearts. Well, you know, positive people are less interesting, but I want to thank him for that. Al Jazeera disagrees. Oh, that's Watch Nicholas. Yeah, you're right. I tend to follow politics that is not inclined with me. So I watch Al Jazeera. I follow it, watch it almost every day. The problem is they're not allowed in Israel. Israel has prevented them from actually being a physical presence there. Okay, so AD never calling. He wants a gay government. A gay government.
What do you think about that?
Well, I suppose if there was a gay government, they wouldn't throw gays off the buildings. It tends to be what they do now, I guess, over there. You have to have a thick skin to hang out here, Mac Lobster. And then George 1987 Zionist. I don't call myself. I've never identified myself as a Zionist. Yeah. Well, anyway, we could ask someone else to join us.
Do you believe in prepping? Do you do any prepping?
For
prepping, like I can't even talk. Preparing for any disasters or catastrophes, whether it be man-made, natural, all of the above.
I prepare my mind for it. So I have a philosophy on attitude that goes to that, where if you're prepared for disasters mentally, we're talking mentally. I think you're probably talking physically. Do I have food supplies for a shortage of food? Would I have a gasoline supply for no gas? Would I have a generator for electricity? Things like those kinds of disasters. No, but I have a state of mind that when I encounter a problem in whatever it is during the day, think of all components of life, I'm prepared for it because I plan and think about the worst things that could happen in any scenario. And if you do that, and I do it daily, constantly, if you do that, you're prepared for it. Yesterday, as an example, one of the things you have to be prepared for, because it happens, is injuring yourself, falling. And I have seen people fall. And boy, there was a lady that fell a few months ago at a restaurant I was at. And she created, I mean, she just didn't want, I said, let me help you up. I went out there with the manager. We're trying to help her up. But no, she created an incident. She wanted 911 called. She was perfectly okay. I would have helped her up into the chair. She stayed on the floor with her dog. It was quite dramatic. But the same thing happened to me yesterday. I fell. I was passing through a steakhouse. I was leaving the, it was the same place I had lunch at today. So last night, I'm moving fast because I move fast. I'm a fast mover. And I was passing the salad bar and I slipped and I did a complete fall. I didn't, Mr. Lux, I got to the car immediately, out the door, got to the car. Everyone caught their attention. A staff member stopped right in front of me and I said, something's wet over there. And I just kept going with a good attitude. Got in the car and I thought to myself, and I'd injured my knee. I got to the car and I thought to myself, what the hell was that? I didn't even look to see what I slipped on. That's how fast I got up and I went out. And people don't do that. And I can compare myself to the woman who had the same.
I do that.
You just got up and go, right?
Yeah, I do that. I don't just, wait. Oh, help me up. Let me make a complaint. Oh,
yeah, right.
You move on with life. You fell over. You deal with it.
All right. So I met my buddy there for lunch, Alan, and we went to the same place. And I walked in and I was early. He was late. I was on time. He was late. And the manager was there. And the owner, not the manager. And we were having some small talk. And in the small talk, before I took my seat, I said, I fell here yesterday. And he said, I heard about that. I said, oh, you did? He said, yes. Do you know what in the conversation, he realized I didn't know what I slipped on.
Yeah.
He said, you slipped on a potato wedge that came off the salad bar. I said, oh, it was slippery. I mean, it wasn't water. And I had very good rubber soled shoes.
Yeah.
So I knew it was I thought it was like salad dressing or something. But that's what I thought in my head. But he said, we have a video of it.
Did you go watch the replay?
Yeah, they had, and he showed me the camera. It's right there. By the way, the restaurant is Sizzlers. It's a steak. It's a low.
Oh yeah, I've been to Sizzlers.
All right. So and they had a salad.
They have unlimited salad bar, right?
Yes, it was a fabulous salad. Last night I didn't have the salad bar, but today I did. And the nice Indian gentleman who was the owner, he said, "You're okay, aren't you?" And I said, "Well, my knee hurt all night, but I'm not suing you. Don't worry about it. I'm just a customer." And he said, "You know what? You should have a free meal." I said, "I'm not taking your free meal today for that. Maybe I'll have free dessert next time. How's that?" So
no. You should say to him, "Forget the free meal. I'm waiting for the free something big time. I want something big. I'm going to make you squeal."
I know. I'm not my style. Now, if you're injured, if you're seriously incapacitated,
tell him that you are mentally injured and now you can't walk out of your house because you fear that there's a potato wedge on the floor.
Potato wedge on the floor.
You have nightmares dreaming about these potato wedges. And
I told my friend, I'm wondering, he always says something funny when I told him I finally found out what I found. I'm taking a look at his text to see if he mentions it.
Well, there is actually a funny comment on the screen.
Oh, funny is good.
Jay Gray says, assassination attempt, olive oil slick on the floor.
That's what I thought. Olive oil. I thought it was the olive oil from the salad bar. Exactly. Because the slip was just, and I didn't.
But did you think it was an assassination attempt?
No, I did not. And I'm ready for that too, but that's a different story. I don't know. Lux.
So when you say you're ready for an assassination attempt, so do you have bulletproof vests and Uzi machine guns and what have you got?
I don't have Uzi. I do have a bulletproof lightweight vest, and I do have other precautions I won't talk about. But my mother had a premonition pre all of that terrorist U.S. State Department stuff in the Philippines, because she was dead before that happened. But she had a premonition, and she didn't tie it to anything specific, that my life would end with a shot in the head. My mother had premonitions. Sometimes she was right, sometimes she wasn't. And I certainly hope in this case she may be wrong, although maybe that's the way to go. Have you thought about how you would like to go?
No, I've never thought about it, to be honest.
You should. Well, I'm not getting any younger, and so I'm prepared to go. I'm ready to go. Let me be clear. Ready and prepared.
Oh, if you're ready, let's do it now.
Well, I don't want to hasten. Also, you're,
if you're ready, let's hold hands together and find
just drink some bleach or something. I don't know how you would do. I guess I have the gun in the other room, but no, I'm not suicidal. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm comfortable with my God and heaven, and I'm okay with going. There are people like my partner Mark. He's a CPA, and I call him my partner. He's it's a business partner, and he is afraid of death.
Oh, I like how you touched your earlobe just then.
Why? Was there? Oh yeah, that's
it's a telling sign.
What is? I forget what it means. There's a nose touch now. What does it mean? Mark.
Because you said my partner. Wink, wink, touch, touch. Oh yes, he's just a business partner.
He's a heterosexual man that's a CPA. And he runs his own business and helps me with mine. And he, his entire life that I've known him, he is on what's called longevity diet. He goes off it sometimes, but he's on this longevity diet, is what he calls it. And he's been on it for decades. And he's about 10 years older than me. He's in pretty good health, plays basketball. He's tall and thin, balding, unfortunately. And
what do you mean, unfortunately? I'm bald. There's nothing wrong with being bald.
He doesn't like being bald. That's why it's unfortunate.
Oh.
So he shaves now to be fully bald as opposed to be not bald. So I don't know what.
Yeah, because it looks. I believe it looks better if you shave it. If you just fucking shave it, it looks way better than trying to do a comb over like Archie. Archie looks a mess. If he shaved it all off, it'd look better.
Or if Archie would dye the hair, we talked about on his show last week. There's an ear itch. I actually have it, just so for the record, as long as we're making things clear. I was at the doctor recently and I reported this ear pain I'm getting. And he looked and he said, I think it's just some wax buildup, not a infection. So we cleaned the ear out and made it better. So there may be something to the touching. But Mark is...
Oh, okay. It just took you 5 minutes to bring me that excuse.
Well, we're going around in circles, but I might as well... good old, Mark's on the longevity diet, so I don't know how long he'll last, but I suspect I'll outlive him too, because I have no real health conditions. I had one health condition in my entire life. It was very odd, and it was a few years ago, and they said to me, it caused me to go to the emergency room for the second time in my life since I was 6. I woke up, and my neck right here had a big bulge, swollen. I mean, really bulging. And I looked at it and I go, what the hell? I thought I was bit like by a spider or something while I'm sleeping. What could that be? That's what I came up with. And I typed in the internet, it said bug bite. Okay. So I went about my day. It was Saturday afternoon. By Saturday night, my finger right here was going numb. Now, I'm a guy without health conditions of any sort. So I thought, well, it's got to be connected. What the hell's going on? So I rushed to the emergency room. I found an emergency room Sunday night in a neighborhood far away from here that wouldn't be crowded. I called ahead of time. Is there anybody there? No, we're pretty empty. We have only one doctor. but it's a big hospital. But obviously, with one doctor, they keep these doctors on. They're sleeping in another room. They have one awake. So I drove down to the one doctor, and he did a battery of tests on me. I was there for 2 hours, $12,000. Anyway, I had a lymphatic sac that moved. You have lymphatic sacs here. You have them in your groin. You have them in your armpit somewhere. You have them all over your body. Lymphatic fluid is like blood, except it's yellow, and it runs deeper than blood and not is in many places. Blood is everywhere, right? But lymphatic fluid is not. So the sac moves to my neck right there.
Okay.
Out. So he said, you got to go to a specialist. I had to leave for the Philippines in like 3 days. So I just got on the plane, went to the Philippines. I saw some doctor and studied in Chicago and also at the Mayo Clinic in the Philippines, an American guy, Filipino American at the hospital there. And he said he knew exactly what it was. He said, we see it in children. And forgive me for, again, not being able to remember the exact name of it, but there's a name to it, but it's an lymphatic sac and it's a birth defect and it will move in children. And what they do is they get rid of it. So he said, well, you could take the operation or we could just drain it. So I said, drain it. So he comes in with a needle this long and a big tube, a syringe, and he wants to put it, and there's a crowd of doctors because no one's ever seen this. So I allowed them in. And he said to me, I'll never forget this. He said, you're not handling this well. And I handle everything well. He sensed it because I said, no, doctor, I'm okay. He said, no, you're not. He stops I swear to you, I felt okay.
Is this another assassination attempt? I
don't know what it is, but I said to him, I feel okay. He said, here's what I want you to do. Only in the Philippines would it go like this. I'm going to give you a medication. He gave me Valium. I want you to check into this hotel, a special rate. It was a hotel across the street. I had driven a long way from my home to go to this Makati hospital. So I checked in. He sent the nurse home with me. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm walking back to this. I'm checking into the hotel with my nurse. We check in. We have dinner together, me and some other people and the nurse. And then I go back to my room, and she's going to stay all night with me. She stays on the recliner lounge.
Oh,
I would. She was there to comfort. She was like the comfort nurse.
Oh,
really, it was very bizarre. In the morning, we got up. We had to be at the walking distance. We had to be there at 11. I just said, let's walk it, 11 o'clock. And he came in with that needle, and he sucked out this yellow fluid. I have a picture. And then, not of the moment, but of the fluid. And then he ripped up the bill of the hospital, which was like 15,000 pesos. He says, this is outrageous. How dare they charge you this? I said, well, yeah, it was like $300. I'm going to work out something. He leaves, he comes back, works out a better price for me, and then I leave. So what I did was it came back. He said it might. So I went and got a 22 gauge needle. 22 gauge needle. I have a picture of this, a selfie. I could show that. It would probably be inappropriate, but where I'm holding, I did it myself.
Can we see the picture?
Really? Okay. Give me.
If it's easy.
Oh, okay. I do have a picture. I did a selfie in the bathroom with the long.
Maybe next week.
Only one person has ever seen that picture. I showed my one buddy because he said, Marcus, you can't post that. I was going to post it. So, all right. So here's what you need to know about this. You don't have a lot of nerves in your neck. So when the needle touches your neck, you feel the touch. But when it goes in, there's no pain. A withdrawal of a blood here in the arm is painful. The neck, no. So who would have known this? So he told me this. I experienced no pain, but for the touch, I did. So I ordered these syringes, 60 millimeters, the big ones. And I would have 60 times 2, about 140. Is that 140? I would have that much liquid in this thing, and I would drain it and drain it.
60 times 2, 140. Did you not go to school?
I did the math wrong, but the point is, I think it's
120.
Yeah, 120. I think it was 60 times 2 syringes. That's what I would get out of the neck. That's a lot of liquid. So, and this stuff is yellow. It doesn't have a smell. And you just clean up everything and you do a sterile procedure. When I told the doctor I did this from my email, he said, you mustn't do this. You must come in and see me. Anyway, I won't go into all those details, but I kept doing it. And then I got back to America, did a deep dive, and I found out there's a procedure to rid myself of this problem, which was at UCLA Hospital. They put ethanol. There's several chemicals they can use. They picked ethanol. It's a gasoline additive, a very small amount, but a full sedation, first time ever I was sedated, full operation, and they injected it, and it disintegrated this thing, and it's never returned. And my neck doesn't have any repercussion. It had no health impacts. You could run around like that forever, but it looked ugly. And here I had to, drain it every 3 months myself in my bathroom. I do have a lovely selfie. I had to take it because I was thinking I would post it, but I never did.
You should post it.
It would freak people out, apparently.
It's just a needle.
It was, but yeah. So I'm like this, and the needle's in, and the yellow fluid, it drains out. Isn't the show over?
Oh, yes. I'm going to wrap this puppy up.
Maybe we should give somebody one last invitation to click the link and come on and ask a question.
There is the link. It's just been dropped in the chat.
All right. Well, we give them a second or two to see if they can spark some closing interest. Oh, it says, what does Marcus get out of doing these streams? Well, I find it fun to talk with people, and I find Lux interesting. I find it fascinating that people will dislike stuff that I say as opposed to disagree with me. And it's a good time. So I'm always home at this time. It's not inconvenient. So to answer that,
have you got any inside information that you can tell us about?
Inside information on
about the future, or any projects, or about any COVID 2.0 or
I'm not much of a conspiratorialist, nor am I.
What about iPet Goat? Do you know about iPet Goat?
iPet, what's that?
iPet Goat 2?
No, well, I don't even know what that is.
Oh shit! You don't know that?
I'm not.
Project iPet Goat. George W. Bush on 9/11 in the classroom was reading a book called I, Pet Goat.
Right. Okay, I know the book. I remember now. What about it though?
And the teacher in the classroom was asking the children to repeat words.
Right.
And the words were along the lines of plane, and then the kids would go plane, tower.
Come on, I watched the video. At least what?
I could play it right. It's a BBC or something. So I can't really play it.
I'll look it up. I watched it. I didn't.
They literally say in jumbled words, plane hit tower, as it fucking happened.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The jumbled word thing. God works in mysterious ways. What can I tell you? And so does the devil.
Depends on who your God is.
Well, you don't know if it's the devil or the God but these things happen because either evil or good does it.
Poway, you can jump on Poway. I mean, we've opened the invitation. Poway's complaining that you don't allow people to jump on, but the chat is there. The
chat is there. Go ahead.
The link is there.
You call him Poway. I think
Poway
aren't on general panel interaction with everyone else. It's just streams. You're telling stories. Yeah, that's true. I'm just telling stories. I have a lot of stories to tell. My stories don't get embellished. They get told in a way that you'll find them more interesting, because I have to keep them as accurate as I possibly can in my memory. I haven't told the story of how I snuck into meet President Bush in the Century
Oh,
Plaza.
was that in Bohemian Grove?
What?
In Bohemian Grove?
No, that's my USC private club. I did talk about that, but I've never told the.
Oh shit! You've spoke about Bohemian Grove.
Well, I'm president for life of the Junior Bohemian Secret Society of USC.
Oh, Jay Gray, you need to jump on, Jay Gray. Jay Gray, come on, Jay Gray. I'll give you the floor, Jay Gray.
I don't see Jay Gray. Oh, here he is. Put your sneakers under the bed. What's Jay Gray saying?
You are a member, a lifetime member of the Bohemian Grove.
I am the president for life. Let's talk about that. I have told that story, but I'll do it in the brief version. So when I was a student at University of Southern California, I had had the experience of leaving college, USC, and going and studying at Yale and Harvard and Pepperdine and Moore Park Community College and USC's campus in Washington and so forth. So I got around in the colleges. I graduated USC. When I was at Yale, I learned all about the Skull and Bone Society.
All right, Jay Gray's here.
Oh, well, we'll skip that story. I'll tell it.
No, you can carry on, but Jay Gray knows a lot about Bohemian Grove.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say that, but please continue with Skull and Bones.
Well, let me say hello. Who are we talking with?
I'm Jay Gray.
Hi, Jay Gray. I'm Marcus. Thanks for coming. All right. So I was back at Yale, and they had this fabulous metal door to their what I would call fraternity house from USC, and it was metal, and it was a bank vault, you know, an old classic giant combination lock, and that was their front door. It interests me, and this was summer, so there was no one around this house, no security. Me and a girl, we went around the back and got into the backyard. And if you've been there, if you know anything about this, there is a strange tower, and it has a round staircase all the way to the top. And we started to climb that, and then we heard what we thought were bats. So we left. We got scared, ran down. When we ran down, and I have a picture of this too. They have this ugly, degraded, looks like sandstone, worn down fountain. It had no water in it, but it was a fountain in the back. I took a picture of it. That's the only proof I have that I was in the backyard. And then we learned about this. When I was at Harvard, I was asked to be, because the summer was vacant for their position. It was called the Harvard WASP Dinner Club. And what I did was I was offered to be president only for the summer, and it was appointed. And the first move I made was, it's the WASP Dinner Club. You get me? You know what that means. I appointed a nice black man named Richard, and he was the vice president. And we converted it to lunches. So, and this was kind of a fun secret society too. So I learned about secret societies. When I got back to USC, I formed a group called the Junior Bohemian Secret Society of USC. It has 22 male members, and it has 3 women for every man. And you know, you get tapped on campus on the shoulder, and you say yay or nay, and you get inducted into the group. And then we have a meeting, and we either blackball you or whiteball you, literally balls with a box, and we make you a member. Some of our activities are Glitz and Glitter Weekend in New York City. We do a blue collar day in a bowling alley. We don't bowl, of course, because it's not becoming, but we do eat the food, like mashed potatoes and peas in a bowling alley. It's called Blue Collar Day, so we want to understand that. And we do these fun, weird.
Well, why wouldn't you bowl then?
Eccentric things. I get a letter from the real Bohemian Grove in San Francisco to cease and desist using the name Junior Bohemians. I write them. I have their letter. I don't have my letter. I wrote them the most scathing. I dare you to take me to court. I'm not going to not use that. So yes. So
I've been to the Grove.
To end the story, I'm president for life. There's an executive director called Mr. X, and I just took the name from the Bohemian Grove, but there's not really a connection of any sort.
But at the time when you made your fake society,
right,
Bohemian Grove, you must have known something about Bohemian Grove.
I knew. I know. Well, I did a paper, ultimately a thesis, in my last year of college, and it was titled "Who Governs America?" And it was about the power elite in America. So I studied it. We now call that the deep state. It's a new name. It's called the power elite. And it's the behind-the-scene bureaucracies that grab a hold of officials. It's foundations. I've been in the CFR offices in New York City.
Are you familiar with Carol Quigley?
Yes.
And his book?
I haven't read the book, no, but I know of her.
No, it's a he.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know the person personally, but yeah, I know the name.
Well, he published a tome on the International Cabal in 1963, I believe. 66, maybe.
What's the book called?
Tragedy and Hope.
Okay, I didn't read. That wasn't in my long list of books that I read on this subject. And I did it all when I was in college, and I wrote a paper about, my theme of the paper was, how can you become a member of the deep state, the power elite? What's the best path? And the best path was education, I determined, and social groups, which were it's pretty obvious actually, but there's a lot of sub details to that. It sounds simple to say that, but there's a lot of detail to those two particular points: social groups and education. That was the entrance back then. Now it's because it was Republicans and Democrats, and it was conservatives and liberals, and it was a lot different than it is now.
Okay, so this guy wasn't at Bohemian Grove. So
No.
Where are we going?
I've never been to the Bohemian Grove in San Francisco.
Oh fuck! I thought we hit the jackpot, boys.
Well,
Have you met the Princess of Jordan?
Oh, I have.
Oh, you have, Mr. Lux?
Oh, I've had private conversations with her.
Well, you have to tell us. You're not into exposing things, but I think you should.
Jay knows all about it.
Well, I know enough to know that she wears Air Jordans as slippers around the house in Paris.
What's her name?
Princess of Jordan.
Yeah. I think she's I think I was watching some interviews with her a few months ago. She's very critical of Israel. Not so much her husband.
She had a lot of jewelry stolen from her, Marcus.
Who took her jewelry?
A lot of jewelry. No stuff.
Well, she's got to keep it locked up like I do. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well. You'd think she'd learn.
Yeah, well, you'd think is this on YouTube somewhere to watch? Or is this just personal information?
Yeah, private. This is private information.
I see. I'll look it up nonetheless. You never know what shows.
Good luck.
Where are you going to look this up?
Get back to us.
Here's the guy that says, did they invite porn stars and have Diddy-like parties at the Bohemian Grove? Well, as I said, I've never been to the Bohemian Grove, and my president for life position of the Junior Bohemians of USC, they have a new executive director. They live on a daily basis. But the way I wrote the rules was that I was president for life. I founded it. It's funny, when we put it out publicly, we did a public announcement.
You hosted a dinner party at a bowling alley, and you refused to bowl.
Well, we didn't post back then, but we got the word out through the campus paper, who did an expose. It's funny, back to our story, you say one thing and people think it's the other. I had people saying, this guy Frishman is a Nazi. And I remember this guy, David Shapiro. I went to visit David Shapiro at his class because I was appointed by the president of the university to the academic affairs committee. It was the most prestigious appointment a university president could give a student. I was on the library committee too. And I found his schedule and I showed up at his classroom and I said, Mr. Shapiro, I'm Marcus Frishman. Do you think I'm a Nazi? Is that what you've said? The guy was humiliated. He had no idea the name Frishman was Jewish. I mean, I don't know. These people are lunatics at the time. Then there was a group, the gay student union. They came out against us, and we started to get harassed. But my vice president was gay. My third VP was gay, for God's sakes. My second VP was black. They called us racists. I mean, my roommate was black. He lived in my apartment when I would go back east and study. I mean, people just judge you. You know, they just say shit. They don't have any idea what they're talking about. This is a particular pet peeve of mine. People need to believe what people say. They mustn't count on third-party sources. They mustn't count of any value what they think. They mustn't count of any value what others say about someone. They must ask the source, and if the source says X, it is in fact X. Believe people. I believe anything I am told by anybody practically because I respect people and I believe that you should not judge people until you have information that's solid. Someone says something, it's the truth, no matter how ludicrous. But people aren't like that. I'm unique in that way that I give high reference to people that they're going to tell me the truth. It's how I would like to operate.
Lux, do you want to test that now?
Are you talking about the princess?
No, this is someone said something. It's the truth.
Oh,
Until it's not, sure.
Let me see if I can call the princess now.
Well, did we have the London number or the Paris number?
One second.
Hold on, we need a dial tone.
Okay, we're calling. 1 second. Oh, shit, 1 second. Oh, can you call us, Alan, if I give you the number, can you call the UK for me? Frishman.
Oh, sure. What's the number?
Okay, 1 second. I'll put it in the private chat. I'm not going to publicly.
Oh, okay.
Get the princess's number out.
How do I see a pro? Oh, there's a pro. Yeah, there's the.
Yeah. Okay.
One second. Okay, go ahead. Okay. I'm going to call the princess. Is that it? That's good.
Yes. So I want you to see that I also have connection.
I have a landline here that is programmed for international calls, but let's see if it lets me call that country. Sure.
She won't be
the UK.
Yet. She won't be home yet.
No, she might have gone for dinner. She might have gone.
It's 5 a.m. in Paris.
She's not in Paris. We're calling London.
Okay.
It's in the private chat.
Yes, somebody says this is the lowest viewed show and it's all your fault or something like that, Mark. Of course, it's the lowest viewed show. I just announced that at the beginning of the show, that I have the lowest views of all of Archie's shows. They're always under 300.
Okay. The code, when you call, oh, he fucking left. What the fuck? He left. He clicked on something. He'll come back.
No, he was insulted.
I'm here. Okay. something.
Okay, when you call the princess, okay, the cleaner is going to answer.
Nepalese?
Okay. Well, the Colombian one got fired because of her son tried to sell the princess's jewelry worth millions of dollars.
Okay, so if, I'm going to call her. How am I going to begin the call? What will I say?
I'll just say you're Mr. Frishman and you'd like to speak to the princess, please.
Fair enough. Here we go.
Yeah.
So +1. I can't do a plus.
You don't read that number out. It's a very
Oh yeah, no, I'm
number.
not doing a I'm doing a landline phone. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go just the numbers, right? Then not the plus.
Yeah, you can just do 0044 maybe if you can't do plus.
Chris, that doesn't work. 0044. Hold on. Wait, dial tone. Wait. 0,
I
0,
do.
4.
Can you not do plus on your keypad?
No. This is a.
Okay, just
call.
do 44 then. Just do 44 and then the number.
Gotcha.
Sorry, the number you dialed is invalid.
Let's try that again.
The number is
It's not invalid.
I'm going to do 44 again.
sorry.
No.
The number
You know, I get the recording even before I press the last digit. There's something wrong with the format. I could try it on the cell phone. Let's do that.
Okay, I know how to do it. Okay, from a US landline.
Okay.
You got to put 011 and then 44 and then the rest of the number.
Oh yeah, that's how I do the Manila. Okay, here we go.
Yes, if you know how to do Manila, it's the same.
Should be on speakerphone.
Yes, we can hear.
Hello? They hung up. They answered and hung up. Let's try it again.
they knew it was Frishman. Like, shit, get rid of him.
You got this number. Okay, here we go.
Now, I want to see Frishman's persuasive techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get past the security?
I got Jamie Dimon on the phone on my credit card issue once.
Lines are temporarily busy. Please try again.
Okay, that's just, that happens. Let's try it again. All right.
You think so excited?
Guys, you have
Princess.
to be quiet.
You can tell it's the UK from the dial tone.
Yeah.
I think it's too. Oh, yeah, it's too early in the morning.
Well, they did answer and they hung up. I clearly because I heard
that was a very serious voice, wasn't it?
Well, we'll have to try it again sometime.
No, but that was a very serious voice that answered that phone. That was not some
It's
child.
too bad because I would like to talk to the princess.
Well,
Well, guys, I think we're ready to wrap.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. Yeah.
don't lose that number.
Do not lose that number. You need that number.
I do. Well, I wrote it down here on my paper.
Okay. Now that is
You
how are
have
you
to
going
call
to
back.
destroy this piece? No, I need to know how he's going to destroy this piece of evidence.
No.
Well, I can-
He needs to call her during the appropriate hours
I
to
wanna do
explain
it-
why he called at such an unruly hour.
I'm not going to call this number without us on the. We'll do it on the next show.
But the
No,
next
it's
show is
gonna be the wrong
5 o'clock in
time.
the morning again. It's going to be at 4 o'clock in the morning again, or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Time Lux is the normal Lux show.
Well,
the time in the UK right now is 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, I'm saying, but when you start your show, it's about 11:30 a.m. in
Yeah, but
GMT.
Marcus is referring to doing it on the next.
Marcus, are you available
No, I mean
at 11:30 a.m. GMT?
But next week it's going to be still the same time, right? 4 a.m.
Yeah, but maybe she has a different schedule that day. And maybe if we start calling her at the beginning of the hour, I will have had 47 calls and she'll finally.
Jeez.
I only had to call Jamie Dimon once to help him. He's the
Oh,
president.
I have his number. I got his number.
Well, I called the public number, but I got through to the office and he took my call. And I said, Jamie Dimon, he got there. And I said, look, I have a problem with my card. Would you like to hear 10 minutes as to why I'm reaching out to you, or do you want to assign someone? He actually said, tell me what the problem is. And then he did assign someone, and it didn't help. But he's a real tool anyway. So where's the exit? What do you call it? What does Archie call it? The exit music.
We can do that. 1 second. Let's wrap this puppy up. Thank you, Frishman. Thank you, Jay Gray. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And thank you for the super chat, Merkel Lobster, $5.
Thank you.
Let's play the music.